Welcome to the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Wilson Blade 98 1820 Countervail. One of the most popular modern racket lines gets an update with an innovative new material. Countervail technology has been integrated into the frame in order to dampen unwanted shock and prevent muscle fatigue to your arm during play. This version features a dense 18 by 20 string pattern for a lower powered, control-oriented feel. First up, we've got the one and only Chris Edwards, and I know you've play tested every iteration pretty much of the Blade line. How did this new version work out for you?
It's got to be my favorite one so far. I really like the feel of this racket. The swing weight came in pretty beefy too, mine. It's a 330 swing weight, and that's a pretty chunky swing weight for a racket in the low 11 ounces, like 11.4. So it was light in the hand, but then when you got it moving, I really liked the way that mass came through the ball. It gave me a little bit of extra punch, and also thought it added some nice comfort to the racket too. It's a dense string pattern, but it played very generously out there, and I think again that's that swing weight pushing through the ball. I like the response at net, felt totally dialed in when I was punching the ball deep, thanks to the 1820 string pattern, and there was nice bite and control. I could really grab the ball for those drop volleys and angle volleys that I really enjoy hitting. And then on serve too, I didn't feel like I was giving up a ton of power just because the mass of the racket came through contact nicely and helped me push the ball through the court. So really fun play test for me. It's my favorite blade so far. I really enjoyed the feel of it and just that plow through to the court from all areas of the court.
Next up, we've got Mark Boone. How did this racket work out for you?
Wow, the 1820s. I've been playing with a few more dense pattern frames lately, so I'm kind of getting used to them. Overall, I'm going to lament a lot of what Chris said. The plow through for a low 11 ounce static weight for a racket was great. So this is very stable against pretty much any shot delivered to me. I, on the other hand, mainly on the forehand side, was challenged a little bit with the grip that I was able to get on the ball. If I plow through my shots, which I drive through it a little more on my backhand, it was great, achieving all the depth that I could ever want. But I was landing a little shallow on the forehand. That's just exhibiting that I loop my forehand more than I drive my backhand. Serve clicked real well with that. Just love the serve. Anywhere on the court, this is a very versatile racket. I probably would try it with a hybrid as well, just to try and liven it up a little bit and thin out the string and get a better grip on the ball. But overall, just a great play test, great racket.
Up next, we've got Troy, and this racket did come in with a little higher swing weight in stock form, and I know you're a big fan of that higher swing weight. How did it work out for you?
Yeah, that's one of the things about this racket I've always liked, being that it is, closer to that 11 ounce range, strung. The higher swing weight, kind of that even balance really helps stabilize and give you some punch and some plow through with this racket. The number one thing about the Blade 1820, I've used the K-Factor back in the day, tried a lot of the different versions, is control. With this string pattern, I just really feel like I can put the ball where I want. I feel like if I swing out from the baseline, I can trust where the ball is gonna land. Up at the net, the tight string pattern gives me a lot of feel. I can caress the ball, put it deep, do what I want. So I like the fact that I can trust in where the ball's gonna land. That's the number one thing here. Compared to some of the previous versions, I've been using the previous iteration of this racket. This one provides a crisper, a little more modern feel, a little bit stiffer. At first that took some time to get used to, but once I dialed that in, I do like a little more pop coming from this control-oriented racket. So I'd have to say I'd put this one kind of between the K-Blade and the last version of this racket in terms of a little bit stiffer, but great stability. Overall, I really like this racket. I'm gonna put some weight in the handle, and I think this could be a racket that I'll keep playing with.
I was also on this play test, and I couldn't wait to try this racket. I used to play with the previous version of this racket, the 1820, but unfortunately, unlike the others, I had trouble really dialing it in with this racket. I thought that the kind of that 1820 pattern combined with that classic Blade feel was one of the strengths, kind of that responsiveness of the racket. In the previous version, it was one of the things I loved. I was completely connected to the ball, kind of felt like a magic wand in my hand. For whatever reason, this version felt a little different to me. I think maybe it was the Countervail technology, but it was muted, it was dampened, and it left me feeling pretty distant from the ball as it left my strings. And with that dense string pattern, it just had a real dead feel to me. So I just never really got comfortable with it. Kind of like what Mark alluded to though, I was driving through the backhand really nicely. It's my flatter stroke, but on my forehand side, which I tend to play with a little bit more shape and a little bit more loop, I had trouble really dialing it in here, wasn't accessing the spin that I was getting in the 16-19 version. And up at net, I found the pattern to be a little bit unforgiving, and any contact off center just wasn't plowing through the volley and giving me the stability I needed. So all in all, interesting play test for me. This is normally a racket that I really like. I know the others really like this racket, but unfortunately for me, just never really got dialed in. For this play test, we had the racket strung up with Luxilon Big Banger Rough at 47 pounds. If you want to learn more, be sure to come to tenniswarehouse.com or one of our fine affiliates.